come to the next page. The next page talks about there was a contest for the throne and Ashoka succeeded against his stepbrother Susima with the help of others as well. Rock Addicts 4 and 5, they say that Ashoka condemns unseemly behavior towards his relatives and refers with loving care to his brothers, sisters, and other relatives. Okay, so if you examine this claim very closely, okay, earlier in some of the Buddhist traditions in Sri Lanka, it is believed that he killed a lot of his own brothers and sisters in his ambition to take up the throne of Magad. But here it is said that according to his so-and-so rock addicts, he is believed to advocate for good relations with your siblings. Okay, so I'm not drawing any conclusions that Ashoka was like this, Ashoka was like that, but which sources are we supposed to believe? Okay, except in the minor rock edicts of Musky and Gujara, Ashoka is throughout referred to as Devanampiya. Okay, he was beloved of the gods. This is one of the titles that he had adopted, and it's very famous all throughout. Any of the history scholars will know this. Okay. So how did Ashok start off his career? Was he directly a king of Magad? No. Before occupying the throne of Magad, he was given the position of Viceroy of Ujjain. Okay, now it is very difficult to go to Ujjain and know nothing about Mahakal. Okay, it's not like, and this is 270, 280 BC we are talking about. Okay, so for those of you for whom it is very difficult to comprehend these time scales, 270 and 280 BC is, so if you rewind the clocks back 2025 years, you will reach a point of 0. And if you again go back further into negative 270 and 280 years, you will reach that point, the point that we are currently talking about. Okay, so in that year, Ashok was a viceroy of Ujjain. Okay, so it's very difficult to be in Ujjain and not worship the Mahakal. Okay. So the reason why I am stressing this point is, so we are taught, okay, that right up until the war of Kalinga, Ashoka had no religion. And only after the war of Kalinga, he was somehow initiated into Buddhism. Okay, we'll also discuss further, but for all practical purposes, it is common sense. Okay, before being converted to Buddhism, also that is also very debatable, but let's assume for the sake of argument that yes, indeed he was converted to Buddhism out of his own will and whatnot. Okay, so before that he was an Aryan. Okay, he worshipped the Aryan gods. He was a viceroy of Ujjain. Okay, next again he was viceroy of Takshashila. He was sent with an army to suppress a revolt over there. Okay, the conquest of Kalinga in the 8th year after his coronation, the severity of the resistance put up by the Kalinga and the resulting horrors. Okay, now this is where there is some inconsistency in his Ashoka's story. Okay, now the grandfathers and the forefathers of Ashok, they were pretty good warriors. Okay, the Chandragupta Maurya and all those people. So they built this Mauryan empire. Okay, through battles, through long drawn out battles, and battles have bloodshed. Okay, so Ashok grew up seeing all these things. Okay, and he definitely was pretty close to it, because since he succeeded to the throne, okay, he definitely had first-hand experience of witnessing this bloodshed. Okay, so what exactly is the remorse are we talking about when we say that only after the violence that he saw in Kalinga, that made him change his mind? He suddenly had an epiphany about non-violence and all that. Okay, so the argument that upon seeing the violence and bloodshed that was done in Kalinga, that made him change his mind and diverted him towards Buddhism, that argument carries no weight, because prior to him, his forefathers, his father, he might have, Ashok might have witnessed bloodshed firsthand. Okay,